It's my great pleasure to welcome today Nathalie Beaulieu, the unit head from the Center for Education Statistics at Statistics Canada, here today to talk to us about the National Graduate Survey. Before I turn it over to Natalie, I'm going to begin with a brief land acknowledgement, which is that McMaster University is the host institution for the Canadian Research Data Centre Network. The university is located on the traditional territories of the Mississauga and Haudenosaunee nations and within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. We'll begin our session today by giving honor and thanks to the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe nations and to recognize our responsibility to respect and honor the intimate relationship Indigenous people have to this land. We can visit Native Land Digital, a space where people can learn more about the lands they inhabit, the history of those lands, and how to actively be part of a better future going forward. And without further ado, take it away, Natalie.
Perfect, thank you. It's okay with my slide? Everything is okay?
Everything is okay.
Perfect. Welcome everyone, and thank you for being here today. My name is Nathalie Beaulieu, and I work in Canada Center for Education Statistics at Statistics Canada. I'm excited to present the result and methodology of the National Graduate Survey, NGS. The objective of the presentation are to understand the evolution of the survey, to explore the content and associated concepts, and how use the survey data to conduct research. The National Graduate Survey is a major project undertaken by Statistics Canada since 1976. In collaboration with Employment and Social Development Canada, ESDC. Since 1995, it was conducted every 5 years. The National Graduate Survey used rigorous methodology, including a representative sample of close to 60,000 graduates per circle, gathering the reliability and validity of the results. The content focused on post-secondary graduate education and labor market experience, specifically on their education pathway, funding for their studies, and their transition to the labor market. The evolution of the NGS population reflects methodological adjustment and change to the inclusion and exclusion criteria over the survey cycles. Let's take a look. In 1982, the survey population was expanded to include graduates from community college, university, and trade vocational programs. However, starting in 2005, graduates from trade and vocational programs were excluded. Graduates who moved to the United States were included starting in 1995 until the class of 29 and 10, when they were excluded again. The sample stratification originally used 3 variables: the geographic location of the education institution, it means the province, the graduate's level of study, and the graduate's field of study. Since the class of 2015, this last variable was being excluded from the stratification. The sampling frame was also evolving. For many years, the list of graduates came directly from post-secondary education institutions. Since the class of 2015, we have exclusively using the post-secondary student information system, PISA's, administrative database. The current definition of NGS target population includes all graduates from Canada public post-secondary education institution who obtain their diploma during their graduating year. They have to be living in Canada at the time of the collection. This population includes graduates of university program that lead to a bachelor, master, or doctorate degree, graduate graduates of post-secondary program in College of Applied Arts and Technology, Cégep in Quebec, Community College, Technical School have been included. Graduates from private institutions, such as a computer training school, are excluded, as well as those whose program had a duration of less than 3 months. Sampling frame was created by Canada Centre for Education Statistics here at Statistics Canada, based on the reference file that I mentioned previously, PCIDS. The NGS use a stratified simple random sample design. The sample selection of graduates in each strata is done without replacement using a systematic method. Two variables were used from the stratification: the geography location at the post-secondary institution and the level of study. Over the cycle, the survey content and concept have also evolved to better respond data needs and to change the reality experience by post-secondary graduates. Since the first NGS collection in 1982, the survey was provide relevant information on unemployment rate, the career prospect, and relationship between post-secondary education and work experience. In 2013, class of 2009 and 10, the survey included new concepts on continuing education, interprovincial mobility, competencies and qualification, intended occupation after graduating, student loans, debt management, and source of financial support during post-secondary education. Work integrated learning activities such as co-op placement and entrepreneurial activities were added to content for the class of 2015 collected in 2018. And the most current cycle, class of 2020, data collected in 2023, we had to adapt the NGS to the new global reality. We added questions about impacts of COVID-19 pandemics and about the microcredential to the content, as well as expanded the section about online and distance learning. Rest assured, I will not go into detail about the 212 survey question, near to the 462 variables in the microdata dictionary from the last cycle. Rather, I would like to give you an overview of certain description variables and concepts related to student pathways through post-secondary education. We have their level of education before starting their program, data about the graduates program from which they graduate, activity during their program such as work integrated learning activity, volunteer activity, and courses abroad. Whether they pursue their future education after completing their program, and factor influencing their choice of institution and program. Something to note, even though the work integrated learning placement have become almost omnipresent in all post-secondary programs, this concept was improved in 2020 to be more detailed for all types of work integrated learning and not just for co-op placement. It includes the duration of the placement, the number of the placement completed, compensation, and whether the placement was mandatory or optional. The survey covered four distinct periods over the course of graduate academic and professional journey: before, during, after, and 3 years after graduating. That's mean at the time of the survey collection. The objective is to obtain comparable variables and to derive them. For example, by comparing the graduate level of education before, during, and after their program of 2020, we can produce a variable for graduates, the graduate highest level of education during their post-secondary education. By structuring the survey this way, we get a comprehensive portrait of the graduate. Let's now dive into the world of post-secondary education funding. Did you know that the microdata master file contains more than 78 variables about how students funded their post-secondary education? There is their source of funding below to one of the two large categories: government, provincial, or federal bursary, student loans, and grants. The second one is the non-government. Again, we have bursaries, bank loans, personal saving, family support, student job. There is also the total amount borrowed, the amount of debt reminded from funding their program of education, as well as the total amount of debt for all their post-secondary education. These data allowed for the analysis of the main source of funding used and the assess the amount of debt graduates have after obtaining their diploma, as well 3 years later. For example, for the graduating class of 2020, 45% of graduates own student loan debt to government and non-government source. This percentage decreased to 30% at the time of the interview in 2023. Other important content in the survey is about professional pathway. The NGS allowed us to analyze the graduate career paths, their work condition, and their earnings. In this table, you will find labor market statistics comparable to those in labor force survey, LFS, but specifically for post-secondary graduates. We can examine whether their activity in the labor force or not, their employment status, and unemployment rate. This section of the survey also includes information about the level of education required for the job and their job satisfaction. I also want to mention that for a few cycles now, NGS was collected employment characteristics such as the occupation and industry. The grad's occupation is coded using the NOT, and the job sector industry is coded using NEX. Bon, socio-demographic characteristics are other factors that can influence a graduate academic and professional pathway. The NGS collects all variables. You could see them around our graduates represented in black on this slide. Sorry. In the last cycle, we modified some of the key concepts which I wish were with you. Firstly, the language concept was expanded, adding the language used at work. The NGS is the most complete language data source for the population of post-secondary graduates. Questions about gender were updated to comply with the Statistics Canada standards. The parents' level of education was collected for each parent individually rather than by sex. We also refined the question about international students. And finally, interprovincial mobility is a key concept in NGS, including the province of study and the province of residency for each of the 4 periods of graduates' academic and professional pathway. To improve the analysis of international mobility, interprovincial mobility, the size of community by the population was introduced in 2020. Now using the data, more interesting for you. The National Graduate Survey is a source for many studies. Different statistical methods such as multivariate analysis, regression, etc. are possible with the data. To conduct research or to do in-depth analysis, the first essential step is to have access to the data. On the Statistics Canada website, you will find 22 self-serve data tables with a descriptive statistic already formatted. They are presented a portrait of a post-secondary graduate, labor market outcome, estimation earning, debt, source of student loans, and work integrated learning participation. Links to all these tables are provided in the appendix slide at the end of this presentation. Additionally, an interactive Power BI tool facilitates the exploration of estimated gross annual earning and student debt of post-secondary graduates. The link is in the slide as well as the end of the presentation. We also have a public used microdata file, the PUM, where the master and doctorate level of study are grouped together to maintain the participation confidentiality. Finally, the one interesting again for you is the confidential microdata master file. They are available for 9 NGS cycles from the 1982 class to the class of 2020. These data are available in Research Data Center. The field from the class of 2020 contain more than 26,000 records and 462 variables. You can conduct your research using only the NGS data to do historical comparison, but why stop there? You can also enhance your analyze and gain a more complete perspective by linking the class of 2015 and 2020 microdata files with other databases. The linkage keys are already available in the Research Data Center for these 2 cycles. The NGS is part of Education and Labor Market Longitudinal Platform, AMLP, allowing the integration of education data with other sources. Don't forget that NGS participation come from the post-secondary student information system, PISA. And for researchers who are already using PISA, the same linkage are possible. Here is the list in the slide of the database which linkage are possible with the NGS. For more information, please visit MLP website, and the link is in the slide too. For the class of 2020, we have facilitated financial analysis by initiating data linkage activities and income analytical file from 2019 to 2022 with linkage key was produced and is available in the RDC2. This file is also including data on benefits that were provided to graduates via the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, the CERB, and Canada Emergency Student Benefit, the CEB. On this slide and the following one, you will find some fascinating example of research conducted by Statistics Canada analysts and researchers. This study offers a unique and in-depth perspective on variety of aspects of student pathways through post-secondary education. The most recent study is about the academic and professional pathways of international students. This is a publication too on the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on graduate education and employment. There is a study on labor market outcome of graduates. There is an analysis in deepness of graduates and their funding sources. There is also a study on the impact of the work integrated learning participation on graduates' employability and job satisfaction. Another interesting topic is the doctoral student pathways, and more specific provincial research is also available. In conclusion, the National Graduate Survey is a valuable tool to better understand and improve graduates' professional pathways in Canada. In summary, the NGS provides valuable information to inform and optimize the professional pathways of graduates. Its rigorous methodology ensures high quality and reliable data. The continuing evolution of the content and concept has allowed for tracking labor market trends and change for nearly 15 years. Researchers have access to the NGS for in-depth analysis and on the variety of topics. The NGS remains an essential pillar by providing relevant and reliable data. And I hope that this presentation has inspired you to explore data from the National Graduate Survey. A big thank you to the Canadian Center Data Network for this opportunity. And I'm now ready to answer your question. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Nathalie. Okay, so this is a meeting format. So it's a slightly smaller group today, so anyone's free to sort of unmute to ask their questions. Maybe I'll get the ball rolling. It's great to see the graduate surveys being put into the ELMLP. Is there any plans to go back a little bit further, or is 2015 sort of the cutoff?
It's the cutoff is 2015, yes, because it's before this cycle was too many. It was very not comparable concept and very different.
Okay.
And linkage was provided from directly from pieces file, and it was easy to get the same record number and register number. This is a very easy linkage to do, but not for the
Not for
moment for the other one. No.
Okay. All right. If you have any questions, I'll look in the chat too, just in case anybody popped anything in there. Nope.
Hi, can everybody hear me? I just want to make sure I have a new set of headphones in.
We do hear you.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you, Natalie, for that presentation. It was very informative. It's nice to kind of get the overview and sort of some of those things that we can do with the NGS shared. And so my question is actually specifically related to the program SIP codes. So in the 2015, there is a variable PGM CIPA, and it is just the very basic, like all of the SIP codes listed for people's programs. And in the 2020 version, the derived variable from the program SIP is now not comparable to the 2015 because the SIP codes were updated. So I think it was 2016 was the original SIP code update, and then they were updated again in 2021. So I was able to locate the correspondence tables, and I'm wondering if you have any suggestions of how to go about creating a field of study variable that is more comparable for the 2015 to the 2020.
Yeah, I have a good news for you, and it will be in May 5th. We will release the table of the data, the class of 2015. We record them using the SIP 2021, and it will be there. You will be able to using these new files that we will be releasing, and the field of study is there based on the SIP 2021, and everything will be there. That will be amazing. This is the last thing we did, and that will be releasing in May.
Okay, so that is great to know. So is that going to be like similar to what's already been released with a mapping, or is that going to actually be like syntax, for example, for creating the actual variable?
Everything will be there. It's not a text or something. It will be by record. You will add a new SIP, the field of study, all the level, and we add the 4-digit level too about the SIP, if you're interested. And
Okay.
yeah, everything is
Okay.
there. A new the user guide will be it's updated. The data dictionary is available for this little file we adding. And yes, it will be possible.
Okay, that is very good to know. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I jump in and ask a question? Hi, my name is Danny. I'm a prof at the OISI.
Hi.
Hi,
Yes.
Natalie. Thanks for the presentation. I really appreciate it. I have a question about the some of the respondents that may be included in the NGS. So I know that you were mentioning you have university graduates that are bachelor's, master's, and doctoral graduates. But I also wonder if you have any graduates that would be included in the data that graduate from a community college with a bachelor's degree.
Yes, if those institutions are public in the pieces, I don't know if you know pieces. If they are listed there, we're using this information, and yes, all the graduates they have a degree or level post-secondary, it's included.
Okay, so there would be people who graduated with a university or like a bachelor's degree, but who graduated from a community college.
Yes, it's possible too. We include them.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Is there any sense of how sort of big that population is? Because it is, I mean, a survey, and if it's a fairly small fraction, you might not be able to say anything about them, right? So I just don't know if you have a read on that.
Thanks for the follow-up.
Yeah.
Yeah. In NGS, they are included at the bachelor, but we don't provide the breakdown by college or university.
Okay.
It's not there. It's why it's include. It's the degree they are included because it's possible to now graduate from different program, different level by in the same institution as a college. Could be a college degree and college and bachelor degree too. It's why it's not different in the data tree, and it's one level.
Okay. Victor Cooperman, did you have a question? I know your hand was up.
Yes, yes, thank you. Natalie, thank you for the great presentation. I have not yet used the NGS. I've used PISIS, but you inspired me to do so. My question is this: I'm a linguist from McMaster, and I'm very interested in language and the variables that are related to that field. You mentioned that the NGS is the best language informed survey
Yeah.
there is. Would you comment a little more about what's available?
Okay, we have the mother tongue, langage maternel. Sorry,
Yes.
and the language using at home, the language of the program you study, the program used at work, and the language that they use mostly at home at the moment of the collection. We have 5 languages, and and it's always English, French, and both language are it's not possible for NGS participant. They don't pick another. No, it's not possible to have they don't speak French or English. They need to speak something to be to get for public institution in Canada. It's yes, we have this kind of language. Do you want more information or do you want more detail?
I was wondering if you have codings for specific languages that the first languages that these people speak, because usually it goes under other. If it's not English or French or both, it's one big category.
Yes, it's other.
Isn't it? Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, that's
But we have the population too, if you are interested.
okay. Yeah. So I might follow up with you for more detailed data. Thank you so much.
Anybody else? Okay. All right, well, with that, well, thank you very much, Nathalie, for your presentation and for taking those questions. We aired much more to the specific today, so thanks for being sharp. And we appreciate you being here, and we appreciate everyone in the audience. Thanks so much. Have a great day.